Hi, my friends. I'm here back with part 2 of working with stressful situations in recovery. The first video was just you can recover even if there's stressful situations, and this is more of a how-to, step-by-step of what worked for me and how I've worked through this and how I understand. It's an understanding as well from a brain and science perspective of how to create enough internal safety slowly over time to start to influence our exterior circumstances that are getting in the way of or a hindrance to our recovery, our full recovery. The bottom line is, you get enough function to slowly shift the exterior circumstance to something a little better. That allows you to have a little bit more function, and we kind of teeter up until we're in a really healthy situation, which usually takes time, a bit of time. There's an amazing quote I found recently by a Nobel Prize winning chemist. I love science so much. It describes exactly what this process is like. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire system to a higher order. That's what we're doing here. So that's one part of this. The other thing that's really helpful to recognize is that whatever, and it's never your fault, but we have our systems, our own nervous systems and brains have usually, when we're in a situation like this, been shaped in a certain way from childhood. And the way that it's been shaped, like there were certain dysfunctional patterns or unhealthy patterns that we've had that matched certain circumstances, jobs, relationships, living situations. And it was like that, that kind of trauma bond, like the dysfunction matched at a certain point in time. And we got really engaged, really like enmeshed with these external situations. And as we start to heal, our patterns heal, and we no longer fit the situation anymore, and things start to get really chaotic. And the conflict increases because we no longer match the dysfunction. We don't fit in that mold anymore. So that's something to understand. And it goes along with another quote. Well, this is somebody quoting Jung, but the bottom line is that Jung has said that in a situation where there is no way out, no way to get out of a conflict, no way out or a conflict with no resolution is the classic beginning of the process of individuation, which means becoming who you truly are, becoming your own person, that authenticity, that inner wholeness, which is very much what recovery is about for so many of us. It's really about that for everybody, but just how big of a role your recovery has in that is different from person to person. So those are a couple of themes and why I think if we're in a situation like this, there are so many different situations. Sometimes we need to work on the exterior to some degree before we start recovery, or need to pause our recovery sometimes and move things along in our exterior circumstance and come back to it later. Like, this is not a one-size-fits-all thing, so please only take what resonates with your situation. This is not one-size-fits-all. So the first step, though, to starting to create those little islands of coherence in the sea of chaos that you're in is to, number one, so this is kind of the preliminary so that you're capable of creating the islands of coherence, is simply to believe that there is a way to create a peaceful resolution and a life where you get to have your maximum quality of life, that you get to recover. Believing that that's possible, part of this goes back to the law of attention in quantum physics, where particles do not exist unless we're paying attention to them. So when we start to say, I believe there is a solution, I believe there is a way forward, even though I cannot imagine it with my mind, I'm acknowledging that the field of potentiality is so much bigger than my own brain. And but you're starting to give attention to those possibilities and bring them into existence by having that belief. The other thing is, when we're working within that paradigm, we can then let go of the bigger picture and worrying about that so much and focus on what's in front of us. So that's the first step. Kind of part of that is accepting where you are. Like accepting that the situation is what it is, whatever it is, whether it's mild, medium, or severe, like just being, when we're like, oh my God, this can't be the case. This can't be happening. I can't recover like this. I can't believe this is happening. We're just totally frozen and just spinning in like a little merry-go-round of frozen stuckness. So accepting like, this is where I am, wherever that is. And I accept that. I'm willing to come to terms with just dropping the pin on the map. This is where I am.